in a group of young people with
a
powers.
group of hot young singles who all have contracts with devils move into one apartment building. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast, where we highlight and discuss new series each week. And today we are back with more Chainsaw Man. That's right. We caught up finally
We're back
on Chainsaw Man. And we're here to share our thoughts.
It's felt like an eternity.
Wrong
Camera.
Which means that today, and I think I know what your name today is going to be.
Don't make assumptions about me, okay? Thank you.
Okay. My name is Josh Hot Date Michaels, and I'm joined by...
Mehgan Penguin Perrine.
Okay, that was good. I really thought you were going to go with the Eternity Perrine, but...
No.
You know,
again...
Don't make assumptions.
No correlation, yeah.
You make a you-know-what out of,
I made a joke. I'm not going to make the same joke twice like you do. But
Thank you for tuning into another episode. We finally caught up on Chainsaw Man, and we're here to talk about chapters 10 through 119. 10 chapters since we started covering them week to week. I'm so excited to finally get to talk about it again. We've been dodging things on Twitter and online, but now we have to dodge no more. What are some of your thoughts generally before we start going through chapter by chapter, Mehgan? What are some of your thoughts on this part, the part that we are talking about today?
Reading up until 109, I did like ASA a lot, but I feel like now when we've gotten to 119, I'm so much more invested in her character. I think it's just because we spent more time with her.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she really is just, she's just so funny and so relatable, just being this person that wants to do more, wants to be better, but just keeps getting dealt a really bad hand of cards, or is so scared of making a mistake that she ends up making the mistake, I totally relate to that.
For sure.
That pressure, that anxiety that she always has, and seeing her relationship with Yoru change and evolve. Now they are more of a team than before.
Yeah, definitely way more of a team.
And I think she realized, we get a really cool dialogue between her and Yuko, and we could talk about it later as we get closer, but it was just such a good moment for both of them, and I think for Asa too, because we get that moment when she's, talking to herself, and then she realizes that Yoru's not there. And she's like, oh, damn, I really do not have any friends. This devil that I'm trying to get away from me is the only person I have close to me in any situation, in any way. So I think that hit her really hard. And I
especially
think that
since at that point she had lost the only friend that she had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started off.
It was a budding friendship.
Yeah, it was.
That was.
And it was unfortunate.
Before it could fully bloom.
And they had so much in common.
Right.
Even at that last conversation, it was you guys are the same.
Yeah.
You guys want the same things, but these damn devils.
These damn devils
are getting in the way of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what
I definitely agree that, I think that in this part, we do see a closer relationship between Asa and Yoru. Denji is in the mix a lot more, and a relationship starts to form between the two of them. We're introduced to a lot more characters, and we get more concrete evidence, or a character explicitly stating rather who exactly they are in terms of being a horseman. But for me, what I noticed the most is the repeating of events that I think is incredibly purposeful. We try not to inundate ourselves too much with the discourse online and how others feel about a part, because, we're all individuals that have our own thoughts and feelings. But
really?
Yeah, really. Sometimes we forget. So for me personally, I believe wholeheartedly that Fujimoto has a very, specific purpose for rehashing a lot of these similar beats. Although right now, I don't know if I feel like I understand perfectly what those intentions are. To show growth, sure. To give another character that has been introduced in this part that has become the protagonist of this part. Bigger moments that are that harken back to Denji being the protagonist of part 1, all of that. But I believe that there's another reason there, and we see similar things not just in its theme, but with like doors continuing to be a really important thing. And
Asa's reoccurring
dream
nightmare, and it was like, I mean, again, back to her whole thing. It's like she says, like, I'm scared of making mistakes. That's why I kind of always play it safe, but I still end up doing it. Like, I mean, just in general, we haven't met death yet.
Right.
So the significance of like the dead Buckies everywhere, right. Like what the door leads to, it could lead to death. Just like kind of the door led to what happened later on.
It led to, Denji's repressed memories.
Yeah.
And I think that in this case, it could lead to something similar, memories that are potentially repressed, whether they are Asa's memories or even Yoru's memories, possibly something that Yoru is trying to keep from Asa.
I mean,
that could be interesting.
Yeah, we did get that moment of like her not even knowing who Famine was, like whatsoever. Like, oh, she changed so much I didn't recognize her. And like we know that they could take different forms, but like that's your sister, quote unquote. Like,
well, I
don't know,
self-titled. She gave herself the title of older sister.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But you didn't even like recognize her at all, like.
Again, I mean, we don't
maybe
know.
That goes into the memories thing. That's what I'm kind of like putting together.
Right,
maybe
right.
I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, it is interesting too, just to see how Chainsaw Man, Pochita, we're shown more about how this power can work through Denji, because we've been told that if a devil is wholly consumed, then they are forgotten. But it seems like if a devil is only partially consumed, then they are still able to come back in the case of the Eternity Devil. So many devils we've seen over and over again from part 1, and now we're seeing again in part 2. What it also could be, I think, is, Yoru, Asa has that dream, that nightmare where she's, stepping on the chickens. And these chickens could also just represent all the people that she's going to have to hurt to continue doing what she needs to do to get rid of Yoru, because...
Yeah, or just mistakes, because Bucky, that was a mistake.
Right.
She didn't want to kill
Bucky. And a mistake for sure, but also not just a mistake, but something that she doesn't want to do. But there is a moment, because in the dream, in the nightmare, the first time we see it, she talks about like trying to avoid them, but then them covering so much of the ground that it was impossible for her to avoid. Then we see later, I think it's the next chapter or a couple chapters later, she basically makes the decision, like, I just want to do whatever it takes to get rid of this situation, to get out of this situation. So if that's going to mean turning somebody into a weapon, then I'll do it. And as she says that, there's a panel of her stepping on a chicken, meaning like she's not trying to avoid the chickens anymore.
Well, she can't.
Right. Yeah.
It's inevitable.
She has to. It's inevitable. So it might not be something as deep as this repressed memory that Denji had, but it could just be more symbolic in that she's finally accepting that she's going to have to hurt people and kill people to get out of this situation. Parallels not just with that, but the Eternity Devil again, like that mini arc being repeated and seeing a similar cast of characters.
Super similar cast of characters, but as I was reading it, I was thinking, because you brought it up too, like it is so clear that it is like so similar to what has happened before with the cast, with like certain panels, the mention of power, Kobeni's like sibling like in the mix, and
a person with an eye patch to maybe fill that Himeno place. Like there's a person that kind of symbolizes or represents a person who came before. Yeah.
And I was thinking about it too, and like Denji has changed so much. Like there's still so many things that are similar about him, but when it came to like this moment, like before, Kobeni's like, we got to kill him, just put, it doesn't matter, kind of disposable in a way. And then he kind of agrees to fight the Eternity Devil for a while, hurting himself, just like trying to, by brute force, get out of the situation that he was in. And in this one, he was really taking a step back and letting everyone else kind of figure it out, and like, helping Asa like find food and just being like more of an emotional support versus like a physical support.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
and
that's actually
I
a
did that was
beautiful
really,
way to look at those chapters.
Yeah. And I looked up Starfish represent like what is it? Represent like infinite divine love. The starfish spirit animal teaches you to cure yourself over time, fill up the void, and replace it with something better.
Wow.
And I was like, maybe I'm just looking too into it. But, you know,
I mean, there was a very specific choice for them to eat starfish.
Yeah.
And for them to talk about starfish.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I was like, that's cool.
That's incredible. I really enjoyed it. It's different. And people can't help but compare previous characters and previous arcs. But I don't think by any stretch of the mean that this is Fujimoto running out of ideas or rehashing things for the sake of rehashing them. There is a purpose, and there still might be things that we don't know, but what I do feel like we are being shown is Denji's growth. Denji obviously went through a lot, and now if we are following suit and comparing characters to previous characters, Denji, in a lot of ways, especially since chapter 119 and finally seeing Nayuta and him and their relationship, he has kind of filled the Aki role in a strange way.
Yeah, he stepped up. I mean, he
even repeating a line similarly that Aki repeated about Nayuta, like Aki saying that he wanted Denji and Power to survive and be happy, and paraphrasing, and him saying that he just wanted the same thing for Nayuta. He's Aki had an impact on him, and this situation and the events that unfolded in part 1 had a huge impact on him. And it changed him, and we see that change.
Yeah, he was barely capable of taking care of himself, let alone another person. Like, that's a huge step. Like,
and he is taking care of them in his own way, but he's taking care of them.
Yeah, with the fart chart and everything. I love it.
Fart chart. That was so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
All the details in that chapter were absolutely amazing, down to the potted plants in the corner.
I know.
Everything.
I know.
So well done.
The cute little backpack. I mean, down to what we see Nayuta. I mean, obviously, spoiler alert, reincarnation or similar, the control devil, Makima. So those little things that we see with, like the chains coming out.
Right.
With the leashes.
Right.
For the dogs. And just a similar, the silhouette in the doorway. So Makima.
I mean, yeah, she has like a Makima hairstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she actually uses one of her chains to pierce through ASA, which is pretty crazy. And this is where we leave off, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen after.
Which is going to be crazy. I mean, she just has to pretend to die. Like, what? She can't revive, and because then they'll know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this has to be where her secret, whether she wants it to be revealed or not, is revealed.
Yeah.
And also, it's going to raise a lot of questions once her and Denji talk again, because she's going to wonder, like, why he's living with this horseman, essentially, and that's a conversation that's going to have to be had.
Or it's just going to get blown off and be like, she just hit you with the chain and you passed out, but you woke up.
Yeah.
And he's not really going to want to go into it further than that.
Right.
And she's going to be like, woo, I don't have to explain it further than that. Okay, let's keep going.
I mean, that has been played with so much over the course of these, like, about 10 chapters.
Yeah. Miscommunication.
That, like, something's about to go down.
Yeah.
It's about to pop off, and then it doesn't. And oftentimes these moments are played for really cute moments. Like, to me, this whole Eternity Devil Aquarium arc was like very wholesome and very cute. And Denji,
nothing
again,
like the previous
nothing like it at all. Again, to show how much Denji's grown, sure, of course, and to give Asa that moment. But again, we're seeing Denji, and you had said not a long time ago, but when we were doing our chapter reviews, that when this series first started coming out and we first met Asa and people were wondering where Denji was, he came in, their relationship was kind of established. You had said you didn't really want their relationship to become romantic. And it sort of kind of is. I mean, it is, but also like it goes back and forth. Asa seems to have some sort of feelings. Denji seems to have some sort of feelings, but they aren't. Neither one of them are like head over heels for the other.
No.
And it's played. It's, we're kind of strung along for multiple chapters, but the moments that they did have where it was cute and romantic were really sweet.
I mean, it is like, again, I there's some like heavy shippers out there. I'm surprised I'm not on the ship yet.
Right.
Maybe I will be at some point, but I feel like I ship them like, I mean, their relationship as of right now is so childish. Because they both, I mean, Denji has more experience. He even said, he's like, I know about dates. And I'm like, Denji, you do.
Yeah.
You do know about them dates, I guess.
Right.
Asa is just so, like, naive and innocent, I feel. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like them together right now, it does seem like such a childish, like, I hate you, but I like you, but I hate you. And it just goes back and forth. And, I mean, she is, like, using him. Or going to, I mean, she can't get too attached because Yoru could just like take over and be like, chainsaw, Denji's spinal cord sword at any time without her knowing what's happening, without her, accepting what's going to go on with him. Right. So it is like do you like me or not? If you don't, then leave me alone. Right. You're going to die. And I'm not going to waste my time with this.
And I've heard arguments and see people talk online about why that wasn't successful. Was it as simple as Asa not being able to turn Denji or use him as a weapon because he has Pochita, the chainsaw devil? Like, is it as simple as that? Or is it that she is so insecure? Whereas when we saw Makima, she was so confident in her power and she could control people less than her, but she perceived everyone as less than her. Similarly, we see Asa be able to turn the aquarium into a weapon, which was fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, I liked that. It was like your guilt for ruining the aquarium made it such a powerful weapon. Like, that is so you. And I was like, oh, that would be me. Like, all the fish and penguins are going to die because of me. That's horrible.
But, it's all about how they perceive themselves. So if Makima perceives herself better than anybody, then she can control everybody underneath her because everybody's underneath her. Asa, she had to perceive that she owned the aquarium by paying for it. She didn't think it was her like natural born right to own this aquarium. Therefore, she could turn it into a weapon. She had to get money, pay for it because it was about her own sort of intention, I guess.
And it was also like knowing maybe because we've had that concept brought to light to us before of like devils like money, like devils, like he wanted money, he got it. That's so weird. Why would devils need money? But that's a concept that's been like brought up before. So like maybe, I mean, a part of that like owning it, but even the Eternity Devil's like, you think that's enough to buy an aquarium? You idiot? Yeah. Like, no, like I need more money. Like, I don't know. I think it was like a back and forth. And I think the guilt, like for the weapon, because we got that introduced literally like that chapter, the chapter before.
Well,
I think that was like intentional.
Well, because we know she has to feel like she owns something or something belongs to her, and then the guilt is a big part of it too. So I think that is what made that kind of work.
Both, yeah.
So perfectly. But I've seen people pose the question like, if she thinks that she owns, I don't know, like if she was a more confident person. And she does think she just owns something or someone without a connection. Like she could potentially be way more formidable and dangerous.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, right before the spinal cord, all that stuff with Denji, like Asa and Yoru have that conversation of like, oh, this is like love. I never thought I would like this person, but I guess because we're connected, I do. Maybe that was the reason why she couldn't do it. Because her feelings are bleeding into Yoru's feelings, which is like a really cool concept. And I hope that Fujimoto like continues that and continues like, Yoru not just being like this emotionalist, get the job done. Like, because they are connected, Yoru might have those feelings that she never would have had before, like linking up with a human. And just like Pochita, I hope that he really like taps into that, because that'll be like a super interesting like duo if they can work together versus like against each other, which we're kind of seeing more so now because she's kind of just like, I'll do whatever you want.
I see, personally, I see this newest chapter, chapter 119, as of this recording, as the moment that a new family is sort of formed or a new dynamic is sort of formed. And now it's going to be Denji, Asa, and Nayuta who have to reveal themselves to each other and are forced to like have to deal with that. I don't know how that's going to unfold because of Asa's feelings on or about Chainsaw Man, but now maybe after learning more about Denji, maybe this is what needed to happen for that bond to be formed. If she would have just ran into Chainsaw Man like she did, and then he turned and reverted into Denji, it would have been game over. But now that she's had time to get to know and appreciate Denji and see a different side of him, it'll, I think, affect how she feels about Chainsaw Man in turn. But yeah, I think that this chapter and the pacing in general has been
119.
I mean, just the pacing since part 2 started, I guess. I understand how some people might feel like it's not as fast paced as part 1, and people have compared, points chapter wise where we were at in part 1 versus where we're at in part 2. And again, that's just the kind of nature of how people consume things. They constantly compare it to things that came before it. But
and I'm so interested to reread it to where I can binge it all in one sitting.
Right.
How different of an experience that will be versus reading weekly, because I feel like the expectation of manga coming out weekly, it's the next chapter, it is that hype, it is that expectation, it leaves on a cliffhanger and then it doesn't get resolved how you might have thought or how you wanted. It's a complaint. So I think that is a huge factor to it. And I don't know, I didn't read Chainsaw Man when it came out. Did we read Chainsaw Man when it came out weekly?
I think towards the very end. Yeah.
And that was a different experience too. So, reading it all the way through like we did, I wonder weekly when it was happening, what people were saying, what people thought.
Yeah, I mean, this new Eternity Devil arc we got to read from pretty much start to finish.
Yeah.
And it felt fast.
Yeah.
But I could also understand how if you're in it week to week, it could have felt especially since it was a rehashing of something we'd seen before, that it felt maybe like it was even taking longer. But I think overall, for me, the pacing has done a really, really, really fantastic job of establishing ASA first, and that was going to take longer, initially, right from the get-go, because you have to temper expectations and you have to force an audience to accept that this is who the focus of this part is going to be. That's going to take longer on its own. And then after that, I think that it's just done a good job of getting us to really care about her first. Then once the writer Fujimoto is confident, then introducing Denji, then letting the rest of the story unfold. Yeah,
because it's interesting because we have Denji, we have Yoshida,
who is in it way less than I expected him to be.
Yeah, and everyone else has kind of been disposable at this point. Yuko, she's gone. Denji's here to stay. Now we have Nayuta, so I'm hoping that, like you said, this new family dynamic, it might be again a rehashing of that type of dynamic. So I am excited to see how that's played out. Maybe it won't be, but I just want her to latch on to someone. I want her to be happy.
Yeah.
I want her to have friends already. I feel like it's like Denji got picked up by Makima in part 1, and then met Aki, and then met Power, and then met everyone else. He met he was really alone, and then he got integrated pretty quickly. Asa's just really, and I get that Asa and Yoru they're it should be 2 versus 1, whatever. But yeah, she's just really a loner.
Yeah, and we had to see her go through that whole character arc of meeting Yuko, all of that stuff happening before we got to Denji. I absolutely love the pacing. I do. I think that it is slow, but I prefer it. I think it works extremely well for the story that is being told. I do think it benefits from being slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be boom flash.
On top of the fact that now, after being able to consume the first season of the anime and seeing how that kind of felt slowed down, it seems like the manga pacing fits even better, or the pacing is even better, because it sort of matches, I guess. And maybe like you said, we just read things fast too. I don't know. In general, I think, so that could kind of taint our view of the pacing, because we're blowing through chapters week to week. But I think the pacing was absolutely beautiful. Fujimoto, again, is still on his shit with just even his paneling in that last chapter, and we'll talk more about it when we get there. But bro, he had me like face cracked and actually genuinely scared when I saw Yoru leaning over to kiss Denji. Like that actually, like, oh my God, like he can really still elicit like those reactions from me just reading. And I also think one last thing I want to say, and then I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add, but is I am so excited for the future and the possibilities. I think that is the fun part of being a weekly reader. Yes, you can be hurt and let down by your own expectations, but if you don't allow those things to get to you and you just allow yourself to have fun in that week to week, then you can really start to enjoy theorizing and dreaming of all the possibilities and not be upset if you're, not getting overly invested and being too upset when it doesn't end up being the case. But I'm talking about specifically how one of the lines in this last chapter was a rule that Denji told Asa to not open any other door. Now, I don't know why that excites me so much. It could just be something that is a throwaway thing, but I do like the idea that it could also be, because that was a living situation that was provided to them by the I think Kashibe helped them set that up, and the Devil Hunter organization.
Yeah, because Nayuta's kind of like, we're gonna keep an eye
right
on you, little one.
Right. So I just think it would be so cool if this apartment building, which is also called Tatsuki like apartments or whatever.
That's cute.
I think it'd be so cool if there were also other people that they're like other hybrids that they're keeping an eye on, or other people
that would be fun.
That would be so sick. And if we establish this group first, and then we get to meet the other tenants, like that would be so fun. Yeah,
that would be really cute. It's like Monsters University.
Right.
Like X-Men.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's like any
right
young people that have powers.
In a group of young people with powers. Sure, it sounds like a reality show.
Yeah, in a group of young people with powers.
A group of hot young singles who all have contracts with devils move into one apartment building.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I like theorizing is fun with anything that you read weekly or just in general with the community, and I do want that to be true so badly. The reason why I'm like, maybe not. I mean, because everything that he was saying is like, these are the rules of the house. And she's like, these are basic. No one open I'm not going to open your fridge. That's basic.
I honestly
rules.
Open people's fridges when I go to their houses. I think it's so interesting. I really do.
It's super rude.
I really don't think it's rude at all. Like, what do you have in there? Like, it would only be rude to me if you have like bodies
when
in
you
there or
open
something.
it, you're signaling like, I want to eat. Like, oh, what do you have in here? Like, oh, like, and if you ask for something, they're gonna be like, no. Like, you're putting them in a position that's kind of like.
But I never ask.
You just take.
No, I don't even take. I don't even want to eat. I just want to look. I just want to look. I think like someone's refrigerator, someone's car, someone's closet, or even just their room in general, like tells so much about like them, and I think their fridge even maybe more so. So I go to people's houses. And
that's
even if they
not good,
even if I'm not the one
that's why you don't get invited anywhere.
I don't care. And you're probably right. Don't invite me. But even when people like I'm not the one opening the fridge, they open it. I like look over their shoulder because I want to see what's in there. I have to know. I have to know what food you eat, what drinks you drink, and how much of something you have, because I feel like I can better judge you and your character.
That's why you shouldn't.
I don't know, whatever. I do that though.
You're just a fridge guy.
I'm a fridge guy, yeah. Comment right now, whether you live with your parents, whether you live alone, comment right now what you have in your fridge. And that would be so awesome to me.
Take screenshots, take some pictures and
post them in our Discord, which there will be a link to down below. Post them in our real live section or community live section. Post a picture of your fridge.
Yeah, post what's in there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Josh really wants to see it.
That would be
He's
awesome.
He's drooling at the mouth. He's like,
we'll go through
fridge.
It on a community live. We'll roast it. We'll just observe it. We'll just take note of it.
Show me your fridge.
Show me your fridge, Daddy.
Hashtag show me your fridge.
Yeah.
Open it up.
Open up that fridge, baby.
Show me what's going on.
Show me what's. Let's chill in the fridge.
Let's chill.
Let's see what's in there.
Ooh, it's cold.
Oh damn.
I want it.
Anyway, I want a fridge. Yeah, so I guess do you have anything else you want to add before we start going through beat by beat? I don't imagine that us going through the chapters is going to take that long.
No. I wanted to point out just some like cute fun facts that I found.
Let's go.
So Chainsaw Man, and let me actually. Oh shit! I don't have the picture. I should have brought it up. But I'll send it to you so you can put it in the episode. You've seen it before. I think it was my screensaver for a while. It's like Power, Aki, and Denji in an aquarium when they're kids.
I did see that.
So in Chainsaw Man, this chapter 113, it's set in an aquarium, and it was released on December 6, 2022. A picture of them at the aquarium was released in chapter 79 on July 31st. The picture has 612 written on the bottom of it, of the Polaroid. Is it coincidence?
I think not.
And I found that
attention to detail. That's amazing.
So cute. I found that it was a tweet by EPPPYYY. Probably Epi on Twitter.
Epi.
So shout out Epi. I was like, that's so cool.
A lot of P's and a lot of Y's.
Yeah. Mark your P's and Y's.
Okay. P's and Q's, but yeah, I get it.
And then an interesting theory that I found on Twitter too on chapter 111 by Urban Nightmare _. He said they said theory. The Chainsaw Man at the end is actually the hero devil because Chainsaw Man is the only quote unquote hero in the world at the time, so it takes form of the Chainsaw Man. Devil.
You just didn't finish that word. It's kind of weird.
But yeah, isn't that interesting? I mean, we didn't even really talk about that with Yuko's death because Denji was soundly sleeping with his dog pack, and that wasn't, I mean, it wasn't shown as Denji, it wasn't shown as Chainsaw Man, it was a silhouette of a shadow. So I just think that's an interesting theory.
Interesting. And that was from what chapter?
111. At the end of 111.
End of 111.
Remember when he's carrying?
Right.
Yeah, it was really intense because I was like, Denji wouldn't, I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, he's done some crazy shit, but he was sleeping. That wasn't Denji. So there's an imposter amongst us.
Interesting. But are people afraid of heroes, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Have you seen
if
The Boys?
You're bad. Yeah, right? Yeah. If you're bad, then you're very afraid of heroes.
Mm-hmm. And people would be afraid of Chainsaw Man.
That's true, too. That's true, too. Interesting. I
like
like
that. As a
hero.
hero.
I like that a lot.
Because Chainsaw Man only saves women.
Yeah.
That's why they're scared.
And cats.
And cats.
And cats.
And that's why I liked it. Not a what was the title of that? Between a cat and a criminal. And I was like, that's a cute tie-in. Because she wouldn't kill a cat and she wouldn't kill a criminal. What's a cat and a criminal combined? Denji. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Fujimoto is like still like so on top of his game. And whatever, it is disheartening sometimes. I mean, that's just with internet discourse in general. But when you see people really picking it apart, it's like, you know, he still is putting so much into what he's creating, writing, attention to detail. It is still like paneled beautifully, drawn beautifully, and is still an incredibly amazing and unique story.
And I care still.
And I care, and I'm invested.
Yeah, and I care.
And I'm also like fully aware that we have a lot of story left to be told. There's a lot of story left to be told. So, you know, I'm not going to make super, you know, irrational or rash, I should say, assumptions.
I'm not going to make irrational assumptions.
I mean, I'm also not going to do that. Anyway, thank you for being here. Welcome back to Chainsaw Man discussions. Let's go through chapter by chapter, which, like I said, I think we'll be able to go through pretty quickly. But this is just so we don't forget any moments and make sure that we, you know, comment on the moments that we might have otherwise forgotten. So let's just start going through it. I have the chapters pulled up. I even have our reaction overlay screen pulled up as well. Just
professional. Just
in case we want to actually look at some of the panels that we're going to be talking about.
Okay. This is the panel that you chose. Got it.
Okay, well, this is where we left off.
Interesting because there's like a couple pages before this, so you could have started at the beginning. But
you're right.
Chose
actually, this is kind of sus.
This is the one that you wanted to really really.
Okay, let me
into.
just take that off then. Anyway, we'll just be going through it right now. And you're right. There was a couple pages before that. So yeah, where we left off is the end of the fight between the Justice Devil and Asa Yoru, who has just brandished her uniform blade.
Yes.
Chainsaw Man comes in to save the day. And at the beginning of this chapter, chapter 110, what is this? I can't see from this far away. A ring in the night?
Yeah, the ring in the night. We
see her using a leg sword. Sick. So sick. So sick. So this fight just kind of concludes. We see Denji or Chainsaw Man thirsting over.
It's not even really thirsting. He's just it's so funny. I love Fujimoto when he does this, which is like he did it in the aquarium, he did it here, where it is the same panel, same reaction, just 3 different times.
But what it is I think as a reader, you start to put your own sort of emotion, or I think it's just like a magic eye puzzle, right? Like the more you see it, the more you might like subconsciously notice subtle changes or project subtle emotional changes and cues like onto this character. It's kind of like an interesting tactic. But yeah, Denji's he's looking. Anyway, okay, moving on. Here we see him, cleverly try to use this opportunity, or not necessarily cleverly, but try to use this opportunity to reveal himself. But he gets taken by Yoshida, and Yoshida is
like, damn, it took you this long to interfere.
Right. Yoshida at this point was gone for a long time, and I think everybody was like, where the hell is he?
Yeah.
Going through, we just see her, this nightmare that we kind of already spoke about, her waking up in the middle of the night because of it, hearing a knock on the door. Again, this knock, and I'll see if I can bring this screen back here. The knock is very, very, very reminiscent of the Aki knock, the power knock, doors in general, being very symbolic in Chainsaw Man, and we see it here again. This time at the door, it is
Yuko. Monster Yuko, Devil Yuko.
And it's funny. People have also noted that Yuko from the opposite side of the door is the one saying, don't open it. Whereas before it was from the other side of the door, Pochita telling Denji not to open it. And then, we do see her here looking like a hot mess. Frankly, looking like a hot mess. Which brings us to...
I told you not to open it.
111, where they have this whole discussion that kind of puts a bow on one of the first interactions and moments that they had together.
Yeah, this was such a good back and forth dialogue. I really enjoyed it because they were friends and there was a blossoming friendship happening, but then you really start to see just like how similar their situation was to each other and how much that could have been just another staple in their friendship. It was like really sad.
Yeah
because they're both kind of dealing with some of the same things, and of course she's like, I took it a little too far, but the truth is, like, I just wanted you to be friends with me, and I just wanted to do that, and I was pretty selfish, and I was like, damn, that's sad.
Yeah, we see her returning the favor, to take my shoes, which is, again, it puts a really sweet sort of bow and brings it all back full circle.
And just her saying the same lines, and she's like, wow, really? I said that was super cringy. Can't believe I said that. And they just kind of laugh.
Yeah.
And I love this. Like, I'm the worst. A bunch of people just died. I killed my own teacher and class president. And here I am laughing about how funny this is.
Yeah. Almost like not allowing herself to, not giving herself permission to be happy.
Yeah. And just like, it's just like funny that she's laughing with this person who did like kind of similar things.
Right.
And they're both just like in the same boat almost. And yeah, I just thought that was a really nice moment.
Overall, very heartwarming, beautiful, well executed moment. And it ends up, for the time being, feeling like it is her permanent send-off.
She's probably dead.
Right.
Yeah. And this was interesting. I do like that theory because, I mean, we don't really see who exactly is doing that. Because in the panel before, we get to see Denji sleeping. So it is just like, who is that?
Right. And it does look like Chainsaw Man, but it also kind of doesn't look like Chainsaw Man. So I don't know.
And even like the questioning, like Chainsaw Man,
Right.
not like Chainsaw Man, period. Chainsaw Man, exclamation mark. Like Chainsaw Man, question mark.
Right.
Interesting.
And she has seen Chainsaw Man, met Chainsaw Man. So why would she be questioning it?
I mean, she's Chainsaw Man's number one fan.
Right.
You know? So
maybe this person is going to end up being the main antagonist of this part. Maybe this is our first, now that this arc has sort of concluded, this Yuko arc, maybe we're getting the introduction to the antagonist.
Yeah.
The real antagonist. But we'll see. Who knows? So I do like that. I do like that theory a lot, though. So moving on to chapter 112. This is a great chapter, actually, chapter 112. This is where we see the aftermath of everything, and we see the mysterious horseman again. And we also see some of the other devil hunters, the douchey student council president, Haruka, Isumi, who's the douche, and later will be revealed as a massive Chainsaw Man, an obsessed Chainsaw Man fan, like all of us. And I wouldn't put it over anybody getting a ripcord implant.
I wouldn't think implant, but definitely tattoo.
Oh, definitely tattoo.
Yeah, it's probably already a thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. And he, it very heavily implies that he's Chainsaw Man, which is kind of weird that later on in the story, he's like, oh, yeah, no, you thought I was Chainsaw Man? No, people just say, like, I'm the closest thing to Chainsaw Man because I'm the biggest fan. And I was like, all right, well, you all but said it.
Yeah, I mean, because she called him out and was like, can't you do something? And he's like, I mean, no.
Right.
I don't think it would have been. I think he would have kept doubling down if he weren't put in that life or death situation.
But he's like, here's your answer. I'm Chainsaw Man.
I'm the Chainsaw Man.
I'm the Chainsaw
Man.
And
I'm the Chainsaw Man.
And he ain't.
Love that.
Yeah, this is the panel we spoke about.
Love that Yoru face is so funny, so diabolical.
Right.
Like I could hear like a yeah. Like
yeah, this is the moment where she decides, like, I just want to do whatever I have to do. And this is where we also see her stepping on the chicken. Again, kind of hearkening back to that nightmare she had recently had.
Reoccurring.
Yeah. This is where, we're learning about guilt being a factor, which I think a lot of us already kind of assumed that there was going to be a factor. Her wondering why she can't just turn, or being told why she can't just turn something like a cat into a weapon. Her seeing Denji.
Because she would rather kill a person than a cat. And I was like,
and I bet you respect that.
It's just an observation.
I mean, put a dog, like, I'm like, people always say they always like bring up the same sort of metaphorical sort of scenario or situation where, like, if two people were hanging off the side of a cliff, who would you save? And I think if it was between me and like a dog, you would save the dog.
That's not fair to say that.
Okay, then who would you save? Think like
next video.
Right.
It depends on the situation.
Depends on the dog.
How long have I known the dog? Depends on the dog. Is it a nice dog?
It should be
Is it a mean dog? Is he super cute? Is he super friendly?
It should be instinctual, instantaneous. I would save you,
Josh. Is the dog whimpering? Is the dog looking at me in my eyes? Is the dog looking at its paw and looking back at me and looking at its paw and knowing that he might get thrown off any minute?
Who the dog was.
It really depends on the situation.
I would save you.
And really,
I don't give a fuck if it was Clifford the big red dog. I would save you.
You wouldn't be able to hold him up off of a cliff. He would fall.
Even when I'm talking about saving you, you somehow managed to insult me. It's just so crazy. and take away from my heroic act. This metaphorical heroic act.
Thank you.
Anyway, we see Denji picking up cigarette butts, which I liked because I used to do this. I used to pick
You
up.
do? I mean, you did.
I used to pick up cigarette butts off the floor.
That's crazy.
And combine them into brand new cigarettes.
You were him.
Yeah, and
people say he's just like me, but like you were just like him, like for real.
Right? Yeah. We would do it. We would do it at Barnes and Noble. We would go around the Starbucks, had a patio with ashtrays on it. This was a time when you could still smoke on patios, and there were ashtrays full of cigarette butts. We would collect them, roll our own cigarettes, and we would sell them to our friends, and we call them chimeras.
Oh,
because they were like a combination
my
of a bunch of. And kind of sick though, right? Like we would call them chimeras, and we'd be like, "You want a chimera?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." And it'd just be like a.
So you're doing exactly what he did. You're like, "Wow, this is like taking me back to being a kid."
Bro, for real, like for real. Yeah. Except Denji wasn't the one smoking them, and I was.
Yeah.
And it probably took some years off.
Jeez, you weren't worried about anything. No.
It's a dark time.
I mean,
It's a dark time.
Okay.
But yeah, she's judging him.
Because he's selling them to homeless people.
Bro, you know what? He's providing a service that these fucking homeless people could do if they wanted to. Okay? They could do it if they want to. I could change my brakes if I wanted to, but I don't want to take the time, which is why I pay for it. Denji is providing a service.
But they don't know that they're not legit. That's he's scamming. It's the difference between like serving and scamming. And he's scamming.
I don't know. It depends on who you talk to.
Okay. Chimera guy, okay.
Some would say people who change your brakes are scamming you too.
That's
so
different.
It's just making my comparison a little stronger.
Sure.
Anyway, then at the end of this chapter is when we get that moment where she asks him out on a date.
Yes.
To the aquarium. This is where the aquarium Eternity Devil mini arc begins. And we've talked about a lot of these events. So again, we're going to kind of be powering through stuff. Let me just start this chapter over. And also, let me say, looks cute as hell.
Yeah.
She looks so cute.
It's so funny. Like, you're so plain. You just like spruce yourself up.
I mean, hair clip.
No, she takes it out. She goes, forget it. And then yours just like, you suck. You suck. It's so relatable. Like Yoru is my self-confidence and my myself, but in my own brain telling me that I'm the worst and I should.
Which is why everybody, this is such a meaningful part because everybody has I think a Yoru in them.
For sure.
She looks cute as hell. This is where she goes to the aquarium and just starts spouting facts and swears that she's going to be this was really charming. This made me like endeared to her so much more.
That's why I was like, damn, like I really do feel so much more connected to her in these moments. Right.
I was so much more connected to her after this chapter. I just thought this was so charming. Denji's not having it. Denji wants to see a penguin. And we love him for that. He's not really into it. The date's not going really well. This is when the older sister Horseman character comes back and reveals herself to be Famine. And says you can call me Fammy?
Fammy.
How do we feel about the nickname Fammy? How do we feel about that? Like, call me Fammy. I'm going to call you Famine.
Because that's what you are.
Because that's who you are. Yeah.
It's kind of cute that she would care to have a nickname.
I mean, it is cute. This is a character that I think everybody was kind of speculating on who they could be. Famine was definitely a name that was tossed around, but also because of the ripcord earrings, maybe even saying that the earrings themselves look like scales. It could be any number of clues, but it was cool to get the concrete sort of declaration from the character herself that she is Famine.
And we just watched a show called Good Omens recently, and the Famine warhorse did in fact have scales. That was his.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense because they all got their own weapons,
Mhm.
packages delivered. It's a funny show. Good Omens is really good. It's not. I mean,
But it
a
was
perfect
just
show, but it's good.
it was cool to see the horseman. I was like, Chainsaw Man. Not like
Every time you see a horseman,
biblical
yeah.
knowledge that, from someone who went to church from the years 0 to 16 years old. I was like, Chainsaw Man reference. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
I will always
funny.
look at the Horsemen of the Apocalypse and like link them to Chainsaw Man. now.
Yeah, forever.
And no
Not to
longer
the
will
Bible.
I link them to the Book of Revelation.
Yeah. But the
So
book
thank you,
of
Fujimoto, for that. Thank you. Yes. So
Instead.
thank you, Fujimoto, for that. Can we work on some other things? Can we like have a cool like Noah's Ark thing so that I can like think of that instead of
Good
thinking of like the
Omens.
actual story? They kind of referenced it. It was
They
kinda
reference a
funny.
lot of.
Well, there are angels and demons since the beginning of time, the Garden of Eden. I mean, it's a cool show. It's fun. That's what it is. It's not like something I'm like strongly recommending everybody go watch because it's not for everybody, but it's fun.
It's very British. If you like British and you like David Tennant, you'll like it. Okay, anyway, off track.
You're right. Sorry.
Fammy, more like baddie. Am I right?
You're
Or
right.
am I wrong?
You're right.
Denji already knows what's up. He's like
He
same
doesn't care.
shit, different day,
I mean, he does care, but he's more like inconvenienced by it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he did. Yeah, he was like, damn, like, not even because of her sake. Again, he's just like, I wanted to see those penguins. Could this have happened after?
Right. But interestingly, I think the craziest part is that Famine takes Yoru from Asa.
Yeah.
Leaving Asa on her own. And this is where you say, like, she has that moment where she's like, damn, without Yoru, like, I kind of don't have anybody.
Mm-hmm. Or can't really do anything.
Yeah, that was really sad. That was actually incredibly sad.
This was one of the funniest parts, dude. Just like a little... when they're mentioning, like, oh, we have, supplies, we have water, fish. We found some fish, and we're gonna, cook them with this lighter. And she's like, oh, I don't eat fish. They just, like, gross me out because they're just too dead.
Same.
And
Dude.
everyone just looking back at her, just like, it's just so funny to me.
I've never heard a character express something that I didn't know how to express before. But that's what it is, dude.
That's what it is.
I mean, because I think sushi is beautiful aesthetically, but I still think it's disgusting. But people eat whole ass fish, and I'm like, bro, it still looks like the animal. It still looks like the animal. Like when I'm eating a cheeseburger, it doesn't look like a freaking cow.
But I mean, you think about chicken legs and chicken wings. I mean, that's just a wing.
But the moment I see a feather on it, I get grossed out and I can't eat it. Because
are you seeing feathers on your food?
Absolutely. We've gotten wings before, and I found a feather on one.
That's
and I didn't tell you.
That's a lie.
I swear.
You're such a liar.
I swear.
Why did you let me keep eating them?
Because it's not unhealthy. I mean, you don't want to eat the feather, but if you buy wings from the grocery store, oftentimes they will have like small feathers still on them. I'm not joking. I've gotten many wings from the grocery store that still have not a lot. Like it'll be like one, out of 10 wings, you'll find one that has like one feather on it or something like that. So it's not a lot, but at the moment I see it, it reminds me like, damn, this really was a chicken.
You should think about that every time you consume.
Right.
It should be, this was a life.
Right.
Jesus.
Just kidding. I mean, I think that's beautiful to be grateful, and to give thanks. That's why, like, if we pray before a meal, I think we should pray to the animal and thank the animal for giving their life.
I think so too.
Like, I just want to thank this chicken for giving me.
Yeah.
I love you so much. I thank you. Your life to give me nutrients right now, and you're tossed right now in Asian zing from Buffalo Wild Wings. But which is good.
I'm hungry.
And I just want to thank you
hungry,
for that.
I
just want to thank
chill.
you. I want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings for creating this sauce. Okay, anyway. Then we see the Kobeni
sibling,
sibling.
The more, what they say.
What do they say?
The number of hairpins.
Okay.
Equals.
The number of hairpins. I'm gonna pee.
Anxiety.
I'm gonna pee. I'm gonna cut.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna keep it rolling, but we're gonna cut this out. But by the time I come back, we're gonna cut to you got to think of a really cool thing that the number of pins is. Like the number of pins means we're going to cut, and then it's going to come back, and you're going to say, but I'm leaving all this in.
Okay.
But I'm cutting this out. So we'll be right back. So you got to set it up. The number of pins.
The number of bobby pins
means
the sloppier the job.
Okay. I'm
just trying to be relevant like the kids.
Okay.
They keep me young.
Right.
But I don't agree with the slander. I just wanted to be cool and feel like I was in, like, I'm in, like I know what's cool.
Right. The number of pins, you heard it here first from Mehgan Perrine herself. The number of pins, the sloppier the job. Anyway, you don't like that. You don't like that was what you said.
I just realized I'm wearing pins.
I didn't want to point it out. I wasn't going to point it out. I really wasn't going to point it out. You might be wearing the same amount of pins.
No, I'm not. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bitch.
1, 2,
and 4.
3, 4. 2 away. Anyway. Yikes. So is this Kobeni's brother? Yes. It has to be, right? I mean, there's no like official confirmation, but I mean, it has to be.
Mm.
And
Kobeni has a lot of siblings.
We've been told Kobeni has a lot of siblings, yeah, and this person is acting and looks exactly like Kobeni. Yeah, I mean, we got to connect the dots. It's interesting though that her younger brother is part of the Devil Hunters Club, but I think he states that it's because his parents believe that it will give him scholarship opportunities or something of that nature.
Too real.
I want Kobeni, but I'll take Kobeni's brother. And that sounded weird. That sounded really weird. We're just going to move on. We meet some other people or get to spend more time with people that we've seen before, other members of the Devil Hunter Club. The whole fish moment and a sweet moment between Denji and ASA. Denji's going around collecting money because the rooms repeat, which means that there will be... This was also really interesting, too, that I think was more fleshed out in this than it was the first time around. It might have been stated or assumed, but it was actually really, I don't know, fleshed out, I guess, is the best way to say it in this time around. How if they keep walking, there will always be another break room with more food, another bathroom. But also that if they stay there longer, then time has kind of stopped, but it exists in this sort of bubble. So the fish will die, the toilets won't flush. Like, it was kind of way grosser and darker in a way.
Well, it's because like everyone in the hotel was contained to like themselves, and they're surrounded by life that is just like dying around them. Like it kind of is a crazier like representation of like what's actually going on.
Also reveals she has a phone that she might be able to use. She slips and falls, breaking the phone. She always falls at the worst time.
Oh my gosh.
We've been shown this many times before. That's what killed her mom, honestly.
That's what killed her mom. That's what killed Bucky.
Yeah.
The girl's clumsy. And I can relate.
Yeah. She gets told off by the douchey president guy who gives a fuck about him.
Everyone hates him. All the homies hate Haruka Isumi.
Yeah, we hate him. We hate him. Hate his guts. Moving on, this is the Starfish chapter.
Yeah, this was so cute. We get again like cool confirmation. Obviously, he's not Chainsaw Man. We know that. She just found that out. But we also get confirmation about, Denji. We were always kind of wondering what the case was with him and Nayuta. Like, are they still living together? Was that still a thing? And it is confirmed here that it is a thing.
Yep.
And he mentions it to Asa, just saying like, yeah, I'm living with like a little sister type person, which is kind of funny. Just lie and just say it's your little sister. Why do you have to? Because he says little sister here, and then he says roommate later.
Yeah.
So yeah, as he's cooking up the starfish and everything, we just get that really wholesome moment.
And it makes
between both of them, and
it makes him, rolling up cigarette butts more endearing, more noble, because he was doing it to pay for Nayuta to be able to go to school, because he says she's super smart and should already be in college. And so I think this is the moment that Asa really realizes that Denji, that Denji is
yes,
more complex than she's given him credit for, emotionally complex.
And I really like how the beginning, this isn't the beginning, but the beginning of Chainsaw Man, like, he is paying off a debt that someone else is, like, put on him. And in this, like, he's making money for someone else.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Not like for him. He kind of had to, because they're like, we stole your nuts. We stole your eye. Like, they're getting him. But here he, like, is again, like, putting so much on him, forcing him to, like, grow up a little bit. Like, we totally see that. And him, like, having the compassion for Asa to saying, like, you need to eat. Like, we all need to eat. Let's find something we can do. Like, I just think that, like, his experiences with Nayuta, like, has really made him more emotionally available.
And made him more aware of, like, how to nurture, I guess, or just, like, how to just take care of someone, or understanding basic needs.
Because he didn't really understand that. He's like, I can get by with a piece of toast.
Right. And I can do it, so everybody else could do it too, right?
Yeah. He's like, no.
Right. Yoshida's also here. He just kind of shows up.
He's very
mysterious.
Yeah, he's an enigma.
Mm-hmm. He comes and goes. He has a phone, but he's also here saying that he's accepted death. He doesn't really see a way out of this. This was a beautiful and cute chapter. We see Asa in the tank. That's when Denji gets in the tank with her and suggests that they eat starfish. This was again, just this panel alone is so cute, and like you said, reinforces all those things that you mentioned about Denji. Moving on, we're getting there. This is the chapter where they actually eat the starfish, which was a very sweet chapter, where Asa also gets a little confidence. She gets some pep back in her step. She gets a little more not demanding, but she's feeling herself.
I think she's feeling herself, but also like she's saying it out loud so she could believe
she's psyching
it.
herself up.
Yeah, I think that's more so what it is.
You're absolutely right.
Power believed it. That's why she said it. I think Asa's like, you're right. I am fun, huh?
Right. Yes.
I'm fun. You think I'm cool, don't you? Because I think I'm cool too.
She's psyching herself up. You're absolutely right. And this is where Denji even compares her to Power. I like that attitude. Reminds me of an old friend. Very, very sweet. Very sweet. And to me, this line really solidifies that, there are people who want to see Power, even though people know by now that if the blood fiend or blood devil was to come back, that it wouldn't be Power. But people still hope for that connection. This to me, I don't know. This is solidifying that that's never gonna happen.
Because fans of Makima that really like Makima, like are they that excited to see Nayuta? Like, it'd be the same situation.
That's a great point.
It would be the same situation of like if Blood Fiend came back and wasn't at all like the person, just had like little callbacks here and there of like being the Blood
different,
Fiend.
Acted different.
Yeah.
So I think that we all know. We all should know that.
Which is sad, but
these people are gone and they're not coming back.
Which I can appreciate in a story.
Absolutely. This is where they come up with the plan. Let's go collect some of that money that's in all those rooms.
Bond over crime.
Repeated over and over and over. And then, Asa convinces Denji to give her the money, which he does. And this was like a big cliffhanger for me.
Yeah.
She puts her hand on the glass and says Aquarium spear. Again, she's buying.
She's manifesting it.
Yeah, she's buying the aquarium and perceiving ownership of it and turning it into a weapon.
And I love that. I don't know why, it's just so subtle, but like that panel where she has her eyes closed.
Right. Yes.
Like with the eyelids. I don't know. It just looks so pretty.
I mean, yeah, it's just Fujimoto's paneling. I mean, he goes off. He goes off.
He goes off.
Sorry about that. Let me just make sure I got everything queued up properly. This brings us into chapter 117, where they're snapped outside of the aquarium. Denji gets to see a penguin finally, which is very satisfying, and we get to see the new Eternity Devil, which looks awesome and might be one of my favorite devil designs. I mean,
Dang.
I don't know why. I mean,
it's very Fujimoto. You could tell he really got hands on with this one.
Good one, Mehgan. Very good. Very good. I just love it. I love it. I think it looks so cool. The melting hands into each other, but then also the face that is sort of just all these fingers folding into a void. Like, it looks awesome. Awesome. And maybe not the coolest, but one of.
Yeah.
One of, for sure. And then again, getting to see Asa with that like spear, like trident with two fish at the end.
Real.
Like, so sick. Like, that's what I love about this part, the playfulness, even the uniform blade. Like, this is what I love about Chainsaw Man. Like, it is incredibly unique and just epic, but silly, but not silly in the way that like other series are silly. Like, it adds a seriousness or gives and lends a seriousness to it while also being silly and cinematic and action packed and creative. It's just incredible. This is what I love about it. Yoshida hopping in again to help Asa take out the Eternity Devil. And this was an incredible panel too. Piercing it with the aquarium trident, which I don't think it was a trident actually, because it looked like it had just only two little prongs at the end. But
yeah, probably not a trident, just a spear, like she said.
Oh, you're right. But a spear typically has 1 point on it, so I don't know. I don't know. Insert the knuckles.
This is now illegal.
Yeah. But yeah, when the Eternity Devil's being pierced, and then we see, because of the aquarium spear, the sharks and the fish coming out. Like, yeah, this looked absolutely incredible. And this is a panel that, again, I just have to show because of how awesome it really was. This needs to be framed somewhere. Continuing on, this is where we find out, right, that this guy was a fraud.
He was a fraud, and we see Fami. I mean, she's up to no good.
She's up to no good, and Yoshida exchanges a glance.
And that's all you need.
That's
you know,
all you
he's
need.
like, that's all I needed to know, pretty
Right.
much. I know what's going on here. I'm gonna keep it to myself and keep it close to me, and cook behind in the sidelines.
Right. I'm gonna be cooking back here.
I'm gonna be cooking over here.
I'm gonna be gone for a couple chapters, but I'm gonna be cooking.
Yeah, and I'm sad that Denji got his penguin taken away, because he did want to keep him.
That was fucked up.
Yeah.
So part of the deal about giving her the money was that she would do anything, and Denji
Of
cashes
course.
in on it, immediately saying,
Which
let's
is-
go on a second date.
Which is growth for this man.
For this man, yes.
I was expecting him, because I was expecting why he said yes was because he was going to cash it in for something else that we've seen happen to him that did not go the way he had planned. But I was really shocked. I was really surprised. He's learned. And he didn't just say like, okay, in that case, can I cash it in right now? Okay, can we
yeah.
Can we
bang?
Yeah. Bang.
Can we
I'm
bang?
sorry.
I might need a little help from the Eternity Devil. You know what I mean? So that we can bang for eternity.
That was
You know, that's a line that I would have used.
yeah. You missed it.
I didn't. Yeah, I missed it.
It's okay.
What was
you
it?
You could play it back when you're editing. You'd be like, oh, that's good.
One more time. I want to know now in this moment.
I mean, it's already over.
Can you do it for me though? Oh.
Bang.
Bang.
We bang.
Can we bang? Thank you. Thank you. For real. Genuinely. Thank you.
Cut it. Cut it out.
Anyway, yeah. He asked her to go on a date. She agrees. This is when Yoru starts to feel some of Asa's feelings, calling them feelings of love
and affection.
What? And her thinking that's all it takes. I've got him. Now.
I've got him in my grasp.
Now it's time for Denji, spinal cord, sword. I didn't know how this was going to play out.
Me either.
But it was one hell of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I will say that. That leads us into chapter 118. Only 2 chapters left to go. Nothing ends up happening. It's kind of played as a very comedic and cute moment.
She goes, he's like, that's a cool way to say goodbye. I like that.
Spinal cord sword.
I like that. Then he goes, ASA spinal cord sword. That was cool. I like that.
This is one of the biggest like laughs I had. Like this made me laugh so loud when I read it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. And then she's wondering like, why did that not work? And she's like, well, maybe because the feelings aren't reciprocated, and she starts getting in her head about that. Making herself angry all over again.
I like her faces.
Yeah.
Her angry faces are so funny.
Yeah. This is where Denji comes in when they're back at school and suggests they go to a movie theater and pitches what I think is a very pleasant date. I think this is a great date idea. Which ASA shoots down immediately, saying that it's going to cost too much money, and don't you care so much about money? We should just watch stuff at your house. And he's like, okay, yeah, we can, but there's a couple of ground rules. And she's like, what happens if I break the rules? And he says, you're going to die.
And you could die, yeah.
And I don't know why the significance of this like phony Chainsaw Man president
is like following them around like weirdly, like, why are you listening in on their conversation?
Yeah, and are we supposed to believe that maybe who we saw the silhouette of could potentially be this guy? I mean, I doubt that.
Who knows? It could be freaking what's his name? Yoshida.
But
Yoshida still on the fence.
I don't know. I mean, he already has his contract. He's already kind of got his thing. You know, not that he can't have multiple contracts.
It could be a costume.
Interesting. But then he's killing people in a costume.
I mean, he still has the capabilities to kill people.
Maybe it's a devil. Maybe, okay.
It never showed his hand having a saw in it, only the head. And she was already cut in half.
Dude, that would be so meta of Fujimoto to do, because now with all the Chainsaw Man cosplays, like what if there's someone just dressing up in Chainsaw Man cosplays, not the hero devil or whatever, but an actual just devil hunter who's dressing up like Chainsaw Man. And it could be this freak right here.
I don't know. I wouldn't give him that much credit.
You're right.
Next video
leads us into the final chapter, the newest chapter as of this recording, a big chapter, chapter 119, ASA going to Denji's house.
Casa.
This is ASA going to Denji's casa. Mehgan, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Like we said in the beginning of the episode, so many Easter eggs sprinkled, so much attention to detail throughout this chapter. We see here Tatsuki apartments. You see it right there.
Oh yeah, I see it. I missed that.
Yeah, I mean it's a little touch, but again, it's very 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 nice and cute.
Yeah.
We get to see the rules, or get to learn the rules, which are, don't go in any other door. Don't open the door to any other apartment than mine. Which again,
thought I saw something else.
Right there. They did look like a person. Is that
on the bottom level near the stairs.
Right.
But I don't think so, because they're shown in shadow.
Right. And just so everybody else can kind of see what we're looking at here. I don't think it is that.
No.
But yeah, there's multiple. It looks like could be 3 other people living there. Potentially, this could be 3 other hybrids, 3 other people they're keeping their eye on.
Yeah, because they're standing in front of one door. I see. Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 4 doors in total, I think.
Also, if we look at this same panel, and you might have to go look at 119 yourself, but I'll pull this up just so everybody can see it. If you look at this panel here, the back of the door, looks like there was some sort of incident. It does look like there's some holes in the door, or it's kind of battered a little bit.
Could be just be the state of the apartment.
Right. Right.
Having a child.
Right.
They do crazy stuff.
And also saying, like, don't open my fridge. She said, why would I do that? And of course, I understand why anybody would do that. I get it. We see the fart chart, which is pretty sick. Later on, we see the plants. We can kind of see them in this panel too. Denji's is the one that's thriving, which is maybe symbolic. Like Denji's kind of thriving right now.
He is.
And Nayuta's is the one that's not thriving. We also see her for the first time. We see her walking some dogs.
Since part 1.
Since part 1, yeah.
Since the end of part 1, yeah.
And he says, rule number 3, the most important one is don't make out with me in front of her no matter what.
It's such a funny thing. Like, I don't know if you were going to or planned on it, but don't do that.
Which is such a
and he just
baller
wanted
move.
like an answer, like yes or no, and he was like, well, I was just letting you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a baller, sad boy, like Hustler Academy, or whatever the fuck, kind of move.
No,
Like, hey, just you can come over, but I just don't make out with me. And then they're like, I wasn't going to, but it's all part of their
scheme.
It's all part of their strategy. Yeah, their scheme.
Yeah.
Fans of the game. But yeah, of course she reacts like anybody would react and say like, what are you talking about? She also has like a really kind of heartfelt and sweet moment here. She's like, I went on a date with you because I wanted a distraction. Now this could be because she was feeling still kind of hurt by not being able to turn him into a weapon, to her meaning that she must not care much about him. And she's like, I'll leave after the movie. And then there's this kind of like really beautiful panel of them just kind of sitting there watching movies, which I don't know, again, so cinematic the way that Fujimoto and draws like body language too, like the way she's just kind of sitting there with her shoes off, like hands on her, or elbows on her knees, him just kind of sitting cross-legged in front of the TV. I don't know, I just love the way he sets a scene and establishes tone. It's just the subtlety, is what I appreciate. Then he's talking about Denji's kind of in his own head now. Like, was she using me? People have said I smelled like a dog before.
Because I sleep with dogs. Should I stop sleeping with dogs? Do dogs smell?
He's like, dogs don't smell.
Do they? And then he says that out loud.
No, he asked her, do you think dogs smell? And then it was this panel that freaked me the fuck out. If I'm being totally honest, even right now, when I navigated over, it gave me a little bit of a jump scare because it goes from before just like this like internal monologue of Denji, sort of like in his own head, you're kind of getting lost in his head with him, to like boom, like her right in your face. But of course it's Yoru, and she is laying it down. She's laying it down.
She's like, enough of this funny business. If you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
Let's cut to the chase.
Breaking the rule.
Breaking the biggest, most important rule. Of course, this is when Nayuta comes in, and just the silhouette of her at the door is terrifying because she looks like a mini Makima. And she is a mini Makima, but she's also her own person.
Yeah.
And it ends, I believe, this chapter also was so incredibly short. It ends with her saying thief, pointing, and sending her chain through Asa's head. You can see a little bit of blood splatter behind her. Did it actually physically pierce her? Is it a devil ability that is going to... People have also speculated that it could mean that she is going to end up separating Asa from Yoru. Who knows? But here is the panel. Her pointing, saying thief, with the Makima do.
Makima do.
It's just cool getting to see her again. We haven't seen her since part 1.
I know. I can't wait for the next chapter. I want to see what happens. I don't think I've ever been more excited for... Not ever, but like I'm super excited for the next chapter. Like I can't wait. And it just came out today when we're recording this, and I'm like, fudge, we have to wait a whole another week.
2 weeks because it's on break. But by the time this comes out, it'll be 1 week.
Shooty.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where we leave off.
Yeah.
And I just have to say that, again, this was so fun getting to catch up, being able to catch up on everything. I think this is actually kind of the perfect place, accidentally, to catch up and leave off so that we can start talking about it more regularly. We have talked about and will let people know exactly when and if, but we have talked about, continuing the chapters and covering them as they come out, like we were doing previously. But before we get into all that and wrap up the video, do you have any final thoughts that you want to share about these chapters?
I mean, I think we pretty much wrapped it up in the beginning.
We talked about a lot in the beginning. We always do that.
But I can't really say much more than what I had already said.
Right.
But I am excited to continue it, and I want to I mean, I hope that was one of the things that appealed to me a lot in Chainsaw Man was that family dynamic, that Hayase Aki
Right. Yeah.
Hayase family. Hayasaka? I forget. Oh my God, I'm a fake fan. I'm a phony. I'm a fake fan. I'm a phony.
It's just because you say Aki, we say Aki so much, we
no,
forget.
it's Aki, his last name.
I know, but why do you set yourself up?
His,
like you set yourself up.
Right there. Hayakawa. Sorry. Hayakawa family. It really endeared me to Chainsaw Man in totality. So I hope that we get a little bit of that with these characters coming up. Especially, I want to see the relationship between Nayuta and Chainsaw Man and Denji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope that this is the moment where we get that again, that familial dynamic. If it's not, I'm ready for whatever Fujimoto has in store. I think that we spent all this time really getting to know and understanding Asa and Yoru, their dynamic. Not only have we gotten to meet and understand Asa and meet and understand Yoru, but we've gotten to see them kind of understand themselves and their relationship evolve.
Yeah.
They are in a completely different place than they were when we met them. And it seemed as though that relationship that they had initially was going to be throughout. However, it has very quickly evolved into something else. And I think that I think that it's a beautiful thing that we get to see. It's a beautiful thing that we get to see, and I think we needed the and here I am blanking because there's so many characters that it's hard to keep track of them all. But I think we needed the Yuko. Yuko. We needed the Yuko mini arc to kind of allow for that relationship to unfold and evolve the way it did. I'm loving all of it. The pacing, the moments between Asa and Denji now, and I really hope that this is the beginning of their sort of team, their sort of dynamic being fleshed out more and evolving and growing as a unit. Because I don't want to keep comparing it to part one, but I also do miss that familial aspect.
Yeah,
and this could be it. But overall, this was an absolute blast. It's nice to be caught up again. It's nice. It was nice to binge it. It was also nice to binge it.
It was nice. It was really nice to read it all back to back to back. And there was a couple things that I had seen on Twitter before we read these chapters. Not crazy spoilers, but just inklings of things that were to come, I guess. But not at all disappointed. Never really disappointed in anything I've read of Fujimoto's thus far or ever. But yeah, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
And so like me and Mehgan talked about, we'll keep you updated. We'll keep you posted. We don't want to make promises that we can't keep, but as of right now, we are toying with the idea of continuing to read the chapters and discuss them as they come out. If that's something that you're interested in, you can express that interest by clicking like on this video, liking it, subscribing if you're not subscribed, letting us know in the comment section, and just letting us know some things we missed. I know that part of getting to cover the chapters week by week is that you do get to pay way more attention to every single detail. When you're covering multiple chapters, you kind of have to brush past some things just so a video or a conversation doesn't go on forever. So if there's things that we missed or theories that you have or things that you found interesting that we didn't talk about or mention, please let us know all of that in the comments down below as well. But I think that's going to do it. We're back, baby. We're caught up on Chainsaw Man. Before we go, we do have to shout out, and we do have to thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing Patreon and YouTube members. Thank all of you guys from the very bottom of both of our hearts.
Love you.
You guys are the reason that this show is what it is. You're the reason we're able to do what we do. You're the reason that we're able to support ourselves. You're the reason we're able to eat. You're the reason we're able to spend as much time as we do because on this channel and on these videos to cook. Because you give us the financial freedom to be able to do that. And we are eternally grateful and blown away each and every single day by all of you beautiful, 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 beautiful people. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of our heart. And if you are not a Patreon or YouTube member and you would like to become one, all you got to do to become a Patreon member is go to patreon.com/volume1pod to become a Patreon member. And to become a YouTube member, all you got to do is click join somewhere next to the subscribe button. on this video that gets you early access to all of our video content, uncut, uncensored, unedited versions of our reactions, and access to an exclusive audio and video podcast, Volume 1 Extra, where we talk about anything and everything behind the scenes, more casual, laid back. But like I said, we talk about anything and everything audio and video podcast that you get access to. And all of that right now at this current moment in time is available on our lowest tier. All of it is available based on whatever, you're able to give. We don't exclude you from getting any specific perk as of this moment in time. So again, if you want to become a Patreon member, you can become by going to patreon.com/volume1pod. And to become a YouTube member, all you got to do is click join somewhere next to the subscribe button on this video. But if you're at a point in a place in your life where you can't donate or give financially, or you flat out just don't freaking want to, then that's totally fine. Never feel bad about that. There are plenty of other things you can do to show your support that mean just as much that Mehgan will tell you all about right now.
Yes, you can do things for free to support us. They help out just as much. All you have to do is comment, like, and or subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Like this video or any of our other videos. Comment on any other videos as well. And it acts as a free tip to us in our channel, and it spreads our videos far and wide across the YouTube space. And it really, really, really does help. We have social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and also a beautiful Discord community. So if you want to go check those out, they're going to be linked down below. And if you are listening to this on an audio platform, if you'd like to leave us a review on any of the platforms that allow you to leave one, that helps us out so much. And we really do appreciate it.
We really do appreciate any and all ways you choose to show your support. But that's going to do it for another episode. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which today, Mehgan, is, and it could be, we're back, but like we're caught up or something like that, or like here's to more Chainsaw Man, or like
Thief.
Let me just
Simple. Everyone, that's the last line in the newest chapter.
And it symbolizes like, being caught up. You're right. Why do I ever doubt you, Mehgan? Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Like I said, for real, honestly, from the bottom of our heart, thank you for any and all ways you choose to show your support. And until next time, thief! Get that thief!
Get your paws off my silky drawers.
Okay.
It's a Grease reference.
Yeah, obscure references. Not that Grease is obscure, but I mean, I feel like that's a reference from